Yo, talk!
Kaito-san,
Stay the fuck out of this!
where are you?
Come on!
That was pretty sweet, man.
Hey, you wanna try helping out?
Sure thing.
My turn! You two fuckers are going down now!
Now that is what it's like to be in Kamaurocho. Let's get into it. Before we kick this video off, I want to give a special thank you to Sega and RGG Studios for sending over Judgement for the PlayStation 5. Now, I previously played this and beat it on the PlayStation 4, which is what it was exclusively on for the longest time, and the fact that it's now on the current generation of consoles, the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, as well as Steam, has me hyped because there's so much new potential to reach a wider audience, and not only that, but have better performance than what it had on the PlayStation 4 originally. Now it's able to run at a higher resolution, it can run at a higher frame rate, and the graphics are just, they're just so beautiful right now. Like, the game was already visually pleasing and just aesthetically gorgeous before, but now it's just taken up that much higher in the echelon. So look, I'm gushing. Let me go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii content creator, host of Hawaii's #1 podcast, the Kasanova Podcast. If you got this far and you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button, sub to the channel, ding the notification bell, that way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. And all that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about Judgement and why I honestly feel it's one of the games of 2021, even though it was a game of 2019. It's going to be dominating 2 years. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Takayuki Yagami is one of the best lawyers in all of Kamaurocho, and to a great extent, Japan as a whole. On one fateful day, one of the criminals that Yagami defended in court and was acquitted of all charges ends up killing a woman and, by proxy, himself. Laden with severe guilt of the events that occurred, Yagami ends up retiring from being an attorney and decides to become a private detective and solve various minor cases in Kamaurocho. One day, he is hired to assist the captain of one of the Tojo clan's subsidiary families who has been arrested and is awaiting trial for having murdered, allegedly, one of the rival clan's members. With the clock ticking, Yagami is hot on the trail of this case, not knowing what greater plot he is ultimately being pulled into. Gameplay. If you played the original release of Judgement, then you'll enjoy the faster, more fluid gameplay, which is thanks to the FPS boost from 30 frames per second to 60 frames per second. Built upon the Dragon engine introduced in Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, you'll find yourself being able to easily acclimate to the gameplay and combat of this entry. While Yagami is certainly no Kiryu Kazuma, he is nonetheless a fairly effective yet flashy fighter capable of switching between stances to handle large crowds of enemies and one-on-one encounters. Unlike Yakuza Like a Dragon, Judgement plays out like the original series does, with an emphasis on brawling in real time. Yagami has access to various punches and kicks along with grabs and throws, dodging, dash attacks, stance switching between his two martial arts styles, and more. What really sets Yagami apart from Kiryu is how he can utilize his size and speed to run at walls and either jump off of them to do a leaping attack, or do a leaping throw or parkour-like vault over, or even utilize some type of heat move variation. Yagami is much more of a faster fighter than Kiryu, and is effectively a middle point between him and Majima. Like in previous Yakuza entries, Yagami is able to buy and utilize items such as Staminix and more in order to gain various health restores and stat boosts, such as being able to immediately fill up his EX gauge for a more devastating combat style. You have access to the game's RPG system, consisting of a large skill tree of various abilities for fighting and detective mode, along with stat boosts and bonuses. The unique gameplay feature in Judgement that sets it apart from Yakuza is the detective mode, which has you gathering evidence and looking over various items that you've gained to help build the cases and sub-cases that you are assigned to. For example, in Chapter 1, where you have to solve a murder mystery, you'll need to look at various crime scenes similar to what you would see in a show like CSI, and see if you can find what stands out, which can be anything from a broken surveillance camera to lack of blood on the ground near the victim and more. These events will have you in the first-person perspective, looking around the environment and utilizing the back right trigger, or in the case of me playing this on the PlayStation 5, the R2 button, to zoom in and see what more information you can find out. There are even instances where you will be flying a drone to stake out an area that you'll need to enter in order to chase down a suspect. There will be times where you will need to follow a character and make sure that they don't see you in order to be able to figure out where they are going and why. In these instances, you will have a meter showing at the top of the screen that will increase as you are spotted, so your best bet is to just trail from a distance and utilize cover in the environments as best you can. Outside of the usual gameplay are various arcades and mini games that you can go and enjoy, such as going to Club Sega and playing anything from franchise classics like Fighting Viper, Space Harrier, Virtua Fighter 2 and 5, and even play a game of darts and more. You can even go to the batting cages and swing for the fences, and as you progress the story, you'll end up ultimately unlocking more and more minigames to partake in that you can easily access from the main menu if you choose to start a new game. I could continue going into the various aspects of the gameplay, but I will leave you with the above as a sample of what you're in for when you play this game. Graphics. Now this is the area you probably want to know the most about, as the jump from the PlayStation 4 to current generation consoles is very, very noticeable. It isn't a groundbreaking leap on the level of a game being made natively or specifically for the current generation consoles, however it is a worthwhile jump in quality. The level of detail increase in hair textures, facial texture, the way water looks in puddles, and just the breathtaking look of the neon-tinged Kamaurocho in and of itself is simply a sight to behold. The game is simply a stunner in this remaster, which is shocking to say as it was gorgeous before, and yet this takes it to a whole new level. The previous iteration had load times, and while not very long, they were there. This remaster removes almost all loading screens, and for the few that remain, they are gone in less than about 4 seconds. Audio. What can I say other than the voice actors chosen for their roles here are all simply fantastic. Greg Chan is simply legendary in his role here as Yagami, delivering some of the best lines I've heard in a game with a level of cadence and cool factor unlike any other. Crispin Freeman delivers a standout performance as Masaharu Kato, with his iconic voice and vocal range greatly bringing our best friend to life. My friend Mark Whitten, known for the voice of Alex in Street Fighter V and Seteth in Fire Emblem Three Houses, does an absolutely astounding, outstanding job as the mysterious Fumiya Sugihara. This is honestly one of the most star-stacked castings I've ever seen in a game as of late, and everyone delivers. The soundtrack helps add to that tension and suspense of this murder mystery thriller, with music that just fits every moment, beat for beat, just perfectly. The sounds of the environments and the bustling crowds are all fully realized and sound lifelike, as if you were actually in the Shinjuku district that the fictional Kamaurocho is based off of. In battles, the sounds of punches and kicks, throws, and weapons all sound as if you're actually in a fight with an extra added oomph to them. All in all, not a bad sound, voice, or music track in this game at all. Downsides. There really isn't much to speak on when it comes to discussing the downsides of this game, as aside from some, random clipping here and there and some odd ragdoll physics here and there when you defeat an enemy, there isn't anything to really knock this game for. I mean, sure, the lip syncing isn't accurate, but that's never been a focal point of a Yakuza, let alone a Sega title's focus. The wrap-up. Judgement was one of 2019's greatest titles to launch on the PlayStation 4, and here we are 2 years later with a remastered version of that classic that vastly improves that experience and makes this the definitive way to experience this title. With an absolutely amazing crime thriller story, one of the best star-stacked voice casts in the game, creative and familiar gameplay, superb graphics, and increased fluidity of frame rate, fully taking advantage of the current generation console's power, and all at a steal of a price, make Judgement a must-own. You must play this game. It's absolutely stellar. The verdict? Buy it. And that's it. That's the review for Judgement for the PlayStation 5. Also available on the Xbox Series X and Series S, as well as Steam, and coming soon to Stadia. Again, special shout out to Sega and RGG Studios. David, thank you so much for sending me a copy over. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, what do you guys think? Do you like Judgement? Did you like the original release in 2019 on the PlayStation 4? Do you like this remastered version? Or do you feel like, you know, titles are getting too quickly remastered not long after they've been released, you know, within a 1 to 2 year time frame? Whatever your thoughts are, let's get the conversation going in the comment section below. And if you want to take the conversation further, hop in the Discord. We have an amazing Discord community. Link for that is also in the description. And with all that being said, I'm Mekel Kasanova. I'm a Hawaii content creator. If you got this far and you haven't already, make sure you like the video, sub to the channel, and ding the notification bell. That way you stay up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes from this channel. All that out of the way, if you're looking for a new podcast to catch where I interview people who are in the game industry, the tech industry, voice actors, celebrities, and more, catch the Kasanova Podcast, #1 podcast in Hawaii. And also, I stream on twitch.tv/Mekel Kasanova, so catch me over there. All that out of the way, I'm signing out. I hope you guys have a great one. I want to go back to Kamaurocho for a little bit, so I'll be seeing you. Deuces well, too sweet, be the elite. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace. Mahalo for making it to the end of the video. I really appreciate your support by those of you who like the videos, who watch them, who subscribe. And for those of you who are my Patreon supporters, thank you for your continued support because you help make this possible. If you enjoy my work and you'd like to support what we do have Patreon on patreon.com/Mekel Kasanova. We also have Coffee as well as Subscribestar. So there's various methods if you want to support the work that we do here. We also have channel membership, so make sure you check that out. That way you get up to date on all the latest and greatest content that comes here, and first, and exclusive content as well. And if you enjoy the work that I do and you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, I'm Mekel Kasanova, Hawaii content creator. I hope to see you on the next one. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ding the notification bell. And all that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.